everyone, and welcome to Lying Around Connecticut with Carol and Harry. I am Carol Kearns. My husband Harry Shue is our co-host. Our mission for the show is twofold: to provide information about Connecticut Lions events and to showcase the many different organizations and causes that Lions support locally, regionally, and internationally. Harry?
Good evening and welcome. Please consult our website at www.lions23b.org or your district spirit for more information on coming events.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lying Around Connecticut with Carol and Harry.
We are back with the celebration of the century. Our keynote speaker is past International Director Jerome Thompson. He's just talking about the United Nations and about our role in forming it. He is a great motivational speaker. So on with the show.
On ever.
We, the Lions, have clubs in 214 countries today. More countries than the United Nations has involved in their organization. Isn't it amazing that we have aided in world peace, and we've aided in communication with countries that otherwise could not communicate? That's but one of our legacies. And here in the last few years, as we've had legacy projects in Connecticut, great things have taken place. I understand that there was one club that extended a baseball field so they could have tournaments to enhance the opportunities for the youth in the community, but also to enhance the economy for people coming into town and playing. I understand that there's a club out there that refurbished the sound and lighting at a high school stage so that the drama department could put on plays. There's clubs that have put in playgrounds. There's clubs that have cleaned up walking trails and made them safer for those that are using them. There's park benches, and there's hundreds and hundreds of other legacy projects that we put together because we're making a difference. I've got to get this off of here. There we go. We're beginning to make a difference. And in this second century of service, when we get to Las Vegas, completely rolled out is our new service initiative with diabetes. And for just a second, let me tell you, somewhere tonight in Connecticut, there's at least one family who a doctor has told today that their child has diabetes. And most of us know enough about diabetes to know that if it's not taken care of, we can slip into something called a diabetic coma. If it's not taken care of, it can steal our sight, it can steal our limbs, it can steal our life. Now just for a second, think of a family that's in their early 30s and a child that's 4 or 5 or 6 that has just gotten this diagnosis. And mom and dad are frightened to death. Tonight, they'll take turns every hour or so, getting up, walking into the bedroom, laying their hand on their child's chest to make sure that they're still breathing. They'll shake them just a little to make sure that they stir and they're not in one of those diabetic comas. They're hopeless, they're frightened, and they don't know exactly where to go from here. But we, the Lions, can provide hope to these parents because we can educate the community and those parents and school-age children about what those numbers mean. We can then begin to talk about healthy lifestyles, those walking trails, managing your diet. I need to do that. How to test for blood sugar. And the best thing that a club and a district and a multiple district can do is begin to work with your diabetic educators and your doctors. Identify those children and give them an opportunity to come together during a summer camp. You see, in my little town of 3,500, there's 35,000 in the county. There's 23 children in our school system that have diabetes. In most schools, because we have 12 elementary schools, we've got about 6 middle schools, we've got about 4 high schools. There may be 1 child or 2 children in the whole school that has diabetes. They're angry, they're the only ones that can't participate in eating all that candy at Christmas time. They're angry, they're the only ones that have to take and test their blood sugar and give themselves a shot before lunch. And when we bring them together at a camp in the summer, what we find is that they begin to understand that there's other children out there with the same diagnosis. And it's normal to watch what you eat. It's normal to test your blood sugar. It's normal to give yourself a shot. And we, the Lions, can provide hope to these families by giving them those opportunities. So as we talk about our proud past, that's important. As we talk about the legacy that we've left in the last 4 years, that's important. But what is most important is to think about what impact we can have on our communities moving forward when we embrace our new global cause of diabetes. You know, then, after we sell a dream and we dream of a bigger project than we've ever done before, we've got to ask ourselves, how are we going to get this done? How are we going to bring members into our association? How are we going to keep them in our association? And what do we do to add value? To add value to their lives. Membership satisfaction is the #1 thing to bring people in and to keep people in. Let me tell you why I joined the Lions Club. I joined for all the wrong reasons. Are there any tax collectors in the house? There one tax collector back there. Excuse me, I'm going to tell a story. Because the tax collector that invited me to join the Lions Club was not truthful. You know what the Bible says about tax collectors. He just wasn't. He came one day and he says, Jerome, would you like to visit the Moulton Lions Club? And I've been practicing law about 6 months. And I said, I guess so. And so I went. And I went home and my wife said, what did you think? And I said, I think it was like having dinner with 30 of my granddads. And she said, well, are you going to join them? And I said, no way. Those folks are old and cranky. I'm not going to join them. Well, Rat, as everyone called him in town, come by and he says, Jerome, what do you think? And I said, well, I think you're a nice group. You do great work. But I'm just real busy. Well, we're looking for busy people. I said, well, I've got a 2-year-old son and I really need to have some family time. Well, we're a family-oriented club. Everything that I said, he had an excuse for. And he says, would you like to join? I said, I just don't know, Rat. I just don't know. And he says, let me tell you this. You're a young, starving attorney. Well, he didn't have to tell me that. I knew I had $3.95 in my checkbook. And he says, did you look around the room? We're all old. We're going to need wills and deeds. And someone's going to die. And we're going to need our probate, our estate probate. I said, where do I sign up? I wrote him a check. I said, but don't cash it till Friday. I need to make a deposit to cover it. He says, don't worry about it. That's what I do all the time when I'm collecting taxes. And I joined the club for all the wrong reasons. But I stayed for all the right reasons. Because you see, about 2 weeks later, Rat says, we're selling brooms and mops made by the blind out in front of Walmart, and we're going to let you have the first shift. I thought that was because I had a family to get back to. After I got there and unloaded all the brooms and mops onto the porch at Walmart, I realized I was the only one young enough to carry those. But then I got real excited and I started talking with everyone coming in, and I would say, would you like to buy a broom and mop? They're made by the blind. And all the proceeds go to buy glasses for those that can't afford it. And I was selling some on my side of Walmart, somebody else on the other side of the door. And that's when Walmart had those little concrete bumpers that you rolled your tires into. They now figured out that it's cheaper just paint stripes. It has nothing to do with safety. It has all to do with saving money. This little car, and I'm sure in Connecticut you don't have them, but I'm going to tell you in Alabama we do. It was a pickup truck that's a little rusted, and the muffler is hanging half on and half off, and it comes rolling into the parking lot, and it hits that bumper, and it rolls back about a foot, and it comes to a stop. And when I saw it, I thought to myself, that man may need glasses. And he was about 85, 86 years old. He got out in his overalls, and he comes toward the door, and I said, I wasn't missing anybody. Sir, would you like to buy a broom and mop? They're made by the blind, and all the problems we make today is finding glasses for those that can't afford it. He squinted at me and he says, "You're lying?" I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "Y'all bought me my first pair of glasses." Before I have to stop for just a second. He reached in his pocket, he pulled out some change. It couldn't have been more than 75 cents. And he says, "I just come to Walmart on Saturday to visit with people." He dropped the change in the bucket and he went in Walmart. And it was about 10 minutes later he'd come out the door. He has this lady by the arm. He says, "Don't buy that cheap stuff in there. Buy the brooms and mops from the Lions. They bought me my first pair of glasses." In the next hour and a half, while I was finishing up my shift, that man sold more brooms and mops from Multi Lions Club than anyone else. Why? Because we made a difference in his life. And I'm a Lion today because someone before me, made a difference in his life. And so what we're doing today is we're putting smiles on the faces of those sometimes who aren't able to put smiles themselves. We're helping families to discover issues that they didn't even know was issues. I was talking with a pediatric optometrist the other day, and he says, when children don't crawl on time, a lot of times it's because they don't see what to crawl to. It began to make sense. And so, customer satisfaction. We've not only got to invite people to join our clubs, we've got to give them that warm, fuzzy feeling early on that we're making a difference. And when we do, we're going to be successful. And then we've got to add value to their life. And Lions Club has so many benefits that add value to our life. If we're bringing in young executives, we've got online learning, free courses that can be taken by all of us that help us to improve our professional and our personal lives. Conflict resolution, meeting management, time management, and all that's free. The added value of meeting with and networking with other community leaders. And when we add value to people's lives, then in turn, they'll add value to ours. And finally, as we move into the future, it's so important that we find a way to be innovative. To be innovative. Now, y'all have mostly been city life. I'm going to just tell you about country life in Alabama. Till I was about 15 years old, my grandparents had an outhouse. Has anyone in here ever had an opportunity to use an outhouse? Oh, they had those things in Connecticut too. I thought it was just in the South where we were poor. They're colder in Connecticut. And I had one cousin that was really a prankster. And you go in there, and he'd go on the outside and turn the button where you couldn't get back out. You had to stay in there in that stinky, smelly environment with all the little maggots crawling up. It was no fun. None. Now, all of you that raised your hand, how many of you would give up your indoor plumbing and go back to an outhouse? No. My grandmother had 10 children. I had 45 first cousins. Some of them I don't even know their name. They may be sitting in the room. I don't know. She had well water because we didn't have running water. You run the bucket down through there, and you pull it up and you put the water in the bucket, And when I was growing up, we just had one dipper. Everybody sipped out of the same dipper. Have we got some dipper sippers in here? People have done that? There were no germs back in the 60s and 70s. We will never do that today. We just shared germs. Everybody sipped out of the same dipper. How many of you would like to go back to being dipper sippers? I just think it's gross. I just didn't know it was gross whenever I was growing up. I remember my grandmother having 8 party lines. Y'all had 8 party lines? Yeah, you got 2 party lines. 8? Listen, when we got 2, we was having a celebration. 8 party lines. My grandmother would say, "Jerome, quit listening." You could find out what was going on all over the community if you just be real quiet and listen. And then we went to the black phones. It was rotary dial. And then we went to the touch tone. And then, when I started practicing law, we were into this bag phone era. Any of you have bag phones? Yes. Look like diaper bags. And I was a young starving attorney in town. And I would take and get that bag phone, and I'd tell my secretary, "Now, I'm only in the courthouse, a block and a half away. You call me about halfway there, and I'm going to look real important while I talk the rest way through town." People want to do business with somebody that's important and busy. And so, I'd be walking and they say, "Jerome," I said, "Come on, just a second, I got to finish this conversation. You come walk with me." It's okay. And we'd have this conversation. They really thought I was busy. I was drumming up business with that bag phone. And then we got a flip phone, and some people stopped right there. Some people still have a flip phone. And then we got to the cell phone. Now, how many of you would go back to that 8 party line? There may be 2 or 3 that really like gossip and drama that would. How many of you would like to go back to that? That's what Facebook's for, someone says. The point of telling all those stories is that all of that is part of our history and got us to where we are today. But it's not what we want to go back to. So I've got this one real serious question. If we do not want to go back to the telephone and the toiletry and the running water of 1917, why are we holding on to the traditional club model of 1917? Today is the day that we must have innovation and move into that second century of service. Move our meetings from dinner meetings to service meetings. Move our meetings from restaurants to telephones and to computers, and to use and embrace technology if we're going to have an organization that's worth being a member of and when we celebrate our 200th anniversary. It's time for us to shake some things loose and do some things different and move forward. Can you do that for me here in Connecticut? Yesterday, I had the opportunity to tour Fidelco. Aren't those amazing people that work there and train those guide dogs? Let me share with you a dream that I had as I was standing there. In Connecticut, there's a number of individuals who have Fidelco guide dogs. And those dogs are good, but they can't drive yet. And the people who have those dogs are capable of serving alongside of us and doing tremendous community service. How do we bring them together so that they can be a club? And I think it goes back to the cell phones that we have in our pocket. Wouldn't it be great to find 20 or 25 people who have guide dogs that wanted to be lions, that met on the telephone, they had their meetings, they had their officers, they paid their dues, and then they did service. And that service doesn't always have to be all of us coming together to do that service, but let them go into their own communities, into their school systems, into the governments, into their public libraries, and share their guide dogs, their white canes, the needs of the visually impaired, and let children in our schools become accustomed to interacting with people who are different and have disabilities. Wouldn't that be great? And I think that what you could do right here in Connecticut is start one club that serves the entire state. And when it works here, spread it throughout New England. What it will do for Fidelco is it gets their people out in the community with their guide dogs, and it brings them great branding. What it does for us, it brings a whole new segment of society into our association, and it helps us to be better at serving those people who are visually impaired. I'm looking forward to the next century of service. I'm not going back to the 1917 club model. I'm not going back to the outhouse. I'm not going to become a dipper-sipper again. I want us to move forward. I want Connecticut to move forward. I want our association to move forward so that we can celebrate even bigger and better successes as we move through this second century of service. Are you with me? Can you do that? We have 55 days left in this year, and it's 55 days of innovation. When you go home, let me tell you that Nick Saban, who has 17 national championships, y'all play college football up here? Who does? You're working on it. Saban says, yeah, y'all do basketball. We don't do round balls. But Saban says that after a great Saturday win, his players can take Sunday off and they come back on Monday to preparing for the next victory. I would say, Denise, that we've had a win tonight and that you and your team have done a wonderful job. And because of that, we're all going to take off Sunday, except your club that's having a fundraiser. And come Monday, let's begin to talk with our club members and find ways to be innovative, to reach out to our community of people who are suffering from diabetes, and let's make our association the best association on the face of the earth. I think that we can do it here, and I think that we can do it because of your dedication. Thank you so very much for allowing me to join you this weekend.
Thank you, Larry and Jerome, for those amazing remarks. We really appreciate that. Connecticut Lions have always been up to the challenge, and we pledge to you, and we will strongly consider your ideas as new challenges for us in the years ahead. I'd like to invite the Council of Governors up for a quick presentation to PID Jerome.
So on behalf of the Council of Governors, I am very happy to thank PID Jerome Thompson from Alabama to come to Connecticut and spend the weekend. I know that there were things going on in District C today, but this event is open for the whole state, and I'm delighted to see so many people. And Jerome, thank you once again for coming. We appreciate all your comments. We do have some gifts for Jerome. This is our Connecticut pin for 100 years of service. This is our multiple district friendship banner. Thank you very much. And many of you have seen the Connecticut Lions history book, and I would give that to Jerome to take back and read about all the history of the Connecticut Lions. Thank you very much.
And as Kathy alluded to, Jerome was a participant in earlier activities today that involved District 23C as our guest. And I have a few things for Jerome. He's a collector of inexpensive and usually funny ties. I think our tie is kind of funny. So that we're offering our cabinet tie for your use, which shows the Charles W. Morgan as well as the Charter Oak. So it's that's our Connecticut tie that we wear on the cabinet. And as well as my friendship banner is in here, and a very stylish Fidelco guide dog mug for you. I know you enjoyed your tour yesterday and enjoyed it.
Thank you so very much.
And I have the honor to present my friendship banner to PID Jerome. And also my pen. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. I was so excited to get to come and say hi. Did everybody get their gift tickets?
That's a good gift.
Thank you.
Thank you once again for coming, Mark.
The birthday boy wants to know if raffle tickets are still available. And yes, they are. They will be available until the intermission when String of Pearls is playing. So you can see for the 3D lion logo sign, you can see Lion Diana Grise, who is standing right there. And for the 50-50 raffle, you can see Lion Nanette Burdick, who is standing there with the red tickets. And for the amazing hand-carved artwork of the lion head, please see Past District Governor Keith Lemire. And that will again be until the intermission during the musical segment of our show this evening. Thank you, Alan. Thank you. All right. It is time for the presentation of some Centennial Awards. So with that, I would like the 3 district governors to come up as appropriate.
So, I'm really pleased to announce that in our district we have 2 clubs who have earned the badge for Lance Legacy Project, and those clubs are first Brookfield Lance Club, and it's my honor to present this badge in recognition of your service to the community. I hope you continue to serve the same way that you're serving now. Thank you so much. And the second Lance Legacy Project badge goes to Orange Lance Club. Well, these are only the Legacy Project badges, but we have many clubs who have earned many diamonds, like 1 diamond, 2 diamonds, 3 diamonds, and 4 diamonds. I have like 5 or 6 clubs who has earned 4 diamonds badges. But I think we were supposed to give one of the legacy badges here, and that's what I brought. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me time.
We would once again like to thank past International Director Jerome Thompson for being our special guest at the celebration of the century. Come back next week for some more awards and some of the fun and games at the celebration of the century. That's going to do it for this episode of Lying Around Connecticut with Carol and Harry. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed our show this evening. Tune in next week for another Lying Around Connecticut with Carol and Harry. Good night.
Bye-bye.